Hi, I'm Monica JOUBERT, your Mrs. Minnesota American Woman of Service 2020. Today we are celebrating the Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA, turning 30 years old. I want to give you some facts that you should know about the ADA. It was signed into law by President George W. Bush on July 26, 1990. This civil rights law prohibits discrimination of those with disabilities in all areas of public life. This includes education, employment, transportation, and all public and privately owned areas of business. The ADA is divided into 5 sections: employment, public services, public accommodations, telecommunications, and miscellaneous provisions. The ADA protects someone with a disability from being asked about that disability or any medical-related questions on a job application or in an interview. It also requires employers to make reasonable accommodations for employees with disabilities. This can include making work areas accessible, modifying schedules, training materials, or policies to accommodate an employee, as well as provide the same level of health insurance benefits to those with disabilities it would provide other employees. It also requires governments on a local, state, and federal level to make their services and activities accessible to those with disabilities. The ADA has set forth minimum standards for accessibility and requires public places to make reasonable accommodations to serve those with disabilities. This may mean widening doors, placing ramps, or creating seating areas to accommodate equipment traditionally used by those with disabilities. Finally, the ADA requires telephone and internet companies to provide nationwide telecommunication services to allow those with hearing and speech impairments to communicate via telephone. It also requires closed captioning on all federally funded PSAs.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Brialt-Straff. I am American Woman of Service Legacy Queen. Today, I'm here to talk to you about foster care and disabilities. Children in foster care experience a higher rate of disabilities, both physical and mental health. Children in foster care require a lot more attention and services than those born to a family where they get the love and support that they need. Children in foster care sometimes experience trauma from displacement, experiences that they had during foster care or in their biological settings. Some are born with physical disabilities that require extra attention. It is our job to help make sure that these children are receiving the services that are required and needed to help them thrive and grow. People need to make sure, as far as social workers, caseworkers, follow up to make sure that these services are being provided and to help the families fight with what they need. A lot of families aren't aware of what services are out there and how they can go about getting them. We need to help them. We need to fight for them and be their voice to help these children become more successful down the road. I have recently been accepted as a CASA for our Philadelphia branch, where I will help children in foster care make sure that they are receiving the services, following up with their foster parents and social workers to make sure they're getting their needs met, as well as in their educational settings to make sure their IEPs and 504 plans are being met and applied to appropriately. Please, foster care is definitely in need of more CASAs to help these families get the support and help that they need to help these children thrive and become young and older, successful adults. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Miranda Eldridge, Miss Northeast American Woman of Service. I want to thank the ADA for all it does for my son. As a parent of a child on the autism spectrum, the ADA paves pathways for my son. The ADA makes it so that my son won't get discriminated against when wearing his noise-canceling headphones in an arcade, or when trying to go to an extracurricular activity. They can't turn my son down just because of the modifications that he may need. The ADA makes it so that education all the way through college cannot discriminate against my son's needs, and that they have to accommodate him so that he can get the same education as every other child. The ADA makes it so that my son in the future will be able to get a job without being discriminated against.
Good morning. My name is Tina Pedersen, Elite Rhode Island American Woman of Service, and I am here today to talk to you about inclusion and accessibility. With the 30th anniversary of the signing of the ADA this month, it was very important for us to talk about how far we've come and what it all means. The ADA makes sure that everybody is included and makes sure that everybody has the accessibility and the proper accommodations that they need. The problem with it is as far as we've come, we still have a long way to go. Like, let's take buying an apartment or finding an apartment or a house. Only 1 to 4% of that apartment complex has to actually be ADA adaptable. Adaptable is not accessible. Adaptable means that they have to make that apartment for somebody in the disability community. So that could be developmentally disabled, blind, or another disability, but doesn't actually mean it's wheelchair accessible. It's a whole nother piece that people just don't think about. There are still so many places that I can't go out to eat, or I can't join my friends, or I can't get transportation just for the mere fact that they're inaccessible. And it's something that's so fixable that nobody should be missing out on making memories with family and friends due to inaccessibility. So with the ADA, there also should be no businesses being opened at this time that aren't ADA compliant and ADA accessible. It's only going to bring that business and that place more money and more people, because if I go to a place, I may not be going with a whole bunch of people who are in wheelchairs, but I'm also bringing my friends and my family along with me. So I may go with 4 or 5 people, so it just increases your bottom line. So accessibility, actual wheelchair accessibility, needs to be brought up. Let's plan for the worst, but expect the best.
What's next for the ADA? It is time to look at the wording of it. Does it truly support our citizens with disabilities? And the answer is no. The wording is just not strong enough to support accessibility. We do not have accessible playgrounds. We still don't have accessible buildings, housing, as well as an education system. It is time to overhaul the ADA to truly be accessible for more than 1% of the disabled population.
You need to get out there and you need to help those children in foster care and group homes have a successful life ahead of them. Please feel free to find ways to donate services or material goods that these families and actual agencies may need to support them. It's very easy. You can do it as a fundraiser, or you can solicit your local agencies to see if they'll donate services. Thank you so much. Now go out there and help those kids.
What we need now is more education on accessibility. We need organizations to be able to understand how to properly accommodate for those with disabilities. They legally can't turn them down, but if they do not know how to properly accommodate, then people like my son may not have access to such programs.
Where I think accessibility needs to go from here, everybody can be affordably accessible if they take the time and they look into it and they take the steps and just realize that everybody should be included. Let's plan for the worst, which is wheelchair accessibility, and let's hope for the best for everybody. So let's help every business and every place and everybody get the accessibility that they need going forward. Thank you.
Happy anniversary, ADA.